Have you ever stood over your rose bush, wondering why it's barely blooming? Or worse, why the leaves look tired and the roots seem like they're doing nothing at all? Same here, but then, something changed. One season, after years of struggle, I poured just 1 cup of a simple natural mixture at the base of my sickly rose, and within weeks something magical happened. Roots burst through the soil, like never before. New buds appeared, and for the first time ever, my rose bloomed through every season, not just spring. Yes, love, just 1 cup. And no, it's not some expensive chemical or a rare garden potion. It's something so simple, so cheap, and yet so powerful. You probably already have it in your kitchen. And today, I'm going to share everything with you, step by step, so you can turn your struggling roses into year-round showstoppers. But before we dive into this magical trick, welcome to Timeless Gardening, where we believe your garden should be beautiful, bountiful, and full of joy, no matter your budget or experience level. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss any of our weekly garden secrets. And if you've been with me for a while, welcome back, darling. You know I've always got something special for you. Alright, ready to learn how just 1 cup can give you 1001 roots and blooms that don't stop? Let's begin. Why roses struggle to thrive, and why it's not your fault. Now, before we get to the magic cup, we need to understand something most people never talk about. Roses are picky, not because they're high maintenance, but because they're deeply misunderstood. You see, we often plant our roses with love, water them regularly, maybe even throw in some store-bought fertilizer, and call it a day. But despite all the effort, what do we get? Spindly stems, yellowing leaves, buds that form but never open, or worse, black spot, mildew, and root rot. But here's the real problem: weak roots. A rose with a weak root system is like a house with no foundation. It doesn't matter how much sun or fertilizer you give. If the roots aren't strong, nothing above the soil will thrive. And weak roots often come from compacted soil that suffocates young roots, poor drainage that leads to rot, lack of nutrients, especially the ones that support root growth, chemical overload, which harms the delicate balance roses need, and sometimes, just the wrong timing. But don't blame yourself, darling. The truth is, many of us were never told that roses aren't just hungry. They're smart. They respond to natural signals in the soil. Give them the right ingredients, and they don't just survive, they explode with energy. That's why when I tell you that 1 single cup of the right thing can change everything, I mean it. Coming up next, I'll tell you exactly what that cup contains, and how it works from root to bloom. The secret mix. What's in the 1 cup formula? Alright, love, let's get into the juicy part. What exactly is in this magical 1 cup that suddenly wakes up roses and sends roots growing like wild? Well, the beauty of this formula is how simple, natural, and cheap it is. No synthetic fertilizers, no lab-made boosters, just a blend of ingredients you probably already have in your kitchen or garden shed. Here's what goes into just 1 cup of this powerful root-activating mix. 1/4 cup used coffee grounds. These aren't just waste, they're rich in nitrogen, one of the most important nutrients for healthy green growth. But more importantly, coffee grounds improve soil structure, attract beneficial worms, and slowly release nutrients over time. They also help maintain the slightly acidic pH roses love. 1/4 cup crushed eggshells. Eggshells are like slow-release capsules of calcium, essential for strong cell walls, preventing issues like blossom end rot, and boosting overall root strength. Plus, they help deter slugs naturally. 1/4 cup banana peel scraps, chopped finely. Bananas are rich in potassium and phosphorus, the dream duo for flowering plants. Potassium helps roses build resilience against disease and drought, while phosphorus fuels root growth and bud production. 1/4 cup wood ash, from untreated firewood or charcoal. Ash provides potassium, calcium, and small amounts of magnesium. It's a time-tested soil sweetener and boosts bloom performance. But be sure to use only a small amount. Too much can make the soil too alkaline. That's why we balance it with coffee grounds. Bonus ingredient: a few teaspoons of Epsom salt. Optional. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, which supports chlorophyll production and helps roses absorb nutrients more effectively. Just a few teaspoons go a long way in boosting lush foliage and helping roots grow stronger and deeper. Now the beauty of this blend is that each ingredient plays its part. They complement one another instead of overwhelming the plant. It's a gentle, steady source of nutrition that mimics what roses love in the wild. Rich, decomposed organic matter that feeds from the ground up. This 1 cup doesn't burn. It doesn't shock. It just quietly gets to work beneath the surface. And before you know it, you've got strong, vibrant roots pushing deep into the soil, and buds forming faster than ever. Coming up next, I'll show you exactly how to apply it, when, where, and how often, to get results you can actually see. How to apply the 1 cup miracle to your rose plants. Now that you've got your powerful little blend ready, that magical cup of coffee grounds, eggshells, banana peels, and wood ash, with a touch of Epsom salt if you're feeling fancy. Let's talk about how to use it the right way to get those jaw-dropping results. Because timing and method, they matter just as much as the mix itself. When to apply it. You want to apply this blend during key growth moments in your rose's cycle. Early spring, right after pruning, when your rose is waking up and ready to grow. Mid-spring to early summer, as buds begin forming, and your rose starts its bloom cycle. Late summer, to give it a boost before the final flush of blooms. After repotting or transplanting, anytime you move your rose, this helps prevent shock and encourages root establishment. Don't apply it in late fall. You don't want to push new growth before winter dormancy. How to apply it so your roses actually use it. There are 2 tried and true ways to apply the mix, and both are ridiculously easy. Method 1. Direct soil application. Loosen the soil gently around the base of your rose bush, just enough to mix the ingredients in without disturbing the roots. Sprinkle the full 1 cup of your mix around the root zone, but not touching the stem directly. Water deeply after application, to help the nutrients seep down and activate into the root zone. Tip: if you're growing roses in containers, use half a cup per medium pot, and make sure your container has good drainage. Method 2. Compost tea style soak extra boost. Add your 1 cup of the mix into a cheesecloth, old sock, or mesh bag. Anything that can hold the solids but allow water to pass through. Place it into a 2-gallon watering can, or bucket filled with warm, not hot, water. Let it steep for about 6-12 hours. This allows nutrients to infuse into the water. Remove the bag, and use the tea to water your roses at the base. This method delivers nutrients quickly, while still being gentle on roots. And if you do both methods, dry and wet, once a month, your roses will absolutely glow. How often? Once a month during the growing season is more than enough. For struggling roses you can do it every 2-3 weeks, but don't overdo it. More isn't always better. Here's the truth, sweetheart. Roses aren't actually fussy. They just know what they like. And this 1 cup miracle, it's exactly what they're asking for. Nutrition that mimics nature, applied with love and a little intention. Now that you know how to feed your roses the right way, let's talk about what kind of results you can expect, and how fast. What happens after you start using the 1 cup mix, and how fast so? Let me walk you through it, stage by stage, because once you start, it doesn't take long before you begin seeing signs of life, beauty, and abundance. Week 1. 2. The silent work begins, underground magic. The first 2 weeks are when the mix starts doing its most important job, but you won't see it yet. Underneath the soil, everything is changing. The organic materials are breaking down, releasing nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and trace minerals into the root zone. Here's what's happening underground. The coffee grounds kickstart microbial activity, like waking up an invisible team of helpers. The eggshells slowly release calcium, strengthening root walls and helping new root hairs form. The banana peel delivers potassium, which primes your plant for strong stems and big blooms. And that wood ash, it raises the pH ever so gently, and adds essential trace minerals like magnesium and iron. You might not see anything yet, but trust me, your rose is feeling it. Week 3. 4. New growth and root explosion. Now things start to get exciting. You'll notice new shoots emerging from the base or main canes. A deeper green in the leaves. That's the magnesium and nitrogen doing their job. A sudden burst of tiny root filaments around the base. If you're growing in containers, you might even see them trying to peek through drainage holes. This is where the phrase 1001 roots starts to make sense. The nutrients are encouraging explosive root growth, and stronger roots mean better blooms later on. Week 5, 6 bud formation in tight clusters. Here comes the beauty. By now, your rose bush should be forming clusters of buds, not just one or two random blooms, but whole groups. If it's a repeat blooming variety, you'll see signs of a second wave of growth forming before the first even finishes. Other signs you'll notice: buds are forming closer together, not spaced apart like before. Foliage looks lush and full, not sparse or leggy. Stems are stronger and upright, able to support more blooms. If you're using this on a struggling rose that hadn't bloomed in a while, this is the stage where it starts to wake up. Week 7, 8 full bloom and continuous color. This is when the magic feels undeniable. Blooms begin opening, and they keep on coming. What makes this different from typical fertilizer spikes or synthetic mixes is the bloom color is richer, thanks to potassium and trace minerals. The petals last longer on the bush before falling off. The scent, if your rose has fragrance, becomes more noticeable, and the leaves don't yellow or curl like they often do with chemical feeding. You may also notice side shoots growing from leaf joints, signs that your rose is gearing up for continuous flowering. You're not just getting blooms, you're building a thriving system that wants to bloom. Month 3 and beyond, bloom cycles that don't quit. With consistent monthly feeding using this method, you'll find yourself in a rhythm. New buds appear while old blooms are still on the plant. You're cutting roses for vases without emptying the bush. The foliage stays glossy and disease-resistant root-bound issues disappear in containers, and your rose takes on a life of its own, full of energy and vigor. Even in warmer zones, this can mean year-round blooms, especially if your rose is in a protected or semi-shaded area. So sweetheart, it's not just about what's in the cup, it's about how you use it, and how consistently you support your plant through each stage. Your roses aren't just surviving, they're thriving. Ready for what's next? Let's talk about other plants you can use this blend on. Because yes, this miracle cup isn't just for roses. Shall we go on? Other plants that love this magic cup. While roses absolutely adore this blend, they're not the only ones. You can also use it on geraniums, for lusher leaves and more vibrant blooms. Hydrangeas, especially if you want fuller heads and deeper colors. Hibiscus, to promote non-stop tropical flowers, tomatoes and peppers, for stronger roots and tastier fruit. Container flowers like marigolds, zinnias, and cosmos. They'll bloom like never before. Just remember to adjust the amount. About half a cup for smaller pots, and 1 full cup for larger ones, or in-ground plants. And there you have it, darling. From one gardener to another, I truly hope this just 1 cup method brings as much joy to your garden as it has to mine. It's simple, natural and deeply nourishing, the kind of quiet magic that turns a plant from ordinary to extraordinary. Because when you nurture something from the roots up, it shows. In every leaf, every bloom, every breath of fragrance on the breeze. So give it a try, let your roses bloom boldly, and let your hands work their quiet miracle. And if this helped you, share it with a fellow garden soul. Let's keep the beauty growing. Until next time, keep blooming, sweetheart.